13th, 2023 Town Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Jeff Renahan, First Ward.
Ann Berger, Third Ward.
Michael Safone, Fourth Ward.
Ann Schurshin, Sixth. Go. Ann Schurshin, Sixth Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
Megan Clementi, Vandewater and Vandewater.
John Baisley, Town Supervisor. Welcome everybody to tonight's Town Board meeting. On tonight's agenda, we have a public hearing, and the public hearing's Town Code Amendment adding 183-3 volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption. 2, appoint Amanda Schneider as a police officer. 3, appoint Stephen Fuller as a police maintenance worker. 4, promote Thomas Comerford as software support analyst at the police department. 5, ratify a PBA memorandum of agreement. 6, authorize the comptroller to make the 2022 operating budget adjustments. 7, authorize out-of-district water agreement for 10 Maple Road. 8, accept the resignation of Robert Nasser from the planning board. 9, waive a liquor license for Q and Brew Barbecue and Hudson Valley Falafel. 10, a resolution for Tucker Drive, Forest, Maine. 11, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with John G. Wade Associates, RE Hudson Heritage Tower, North Tower Assessment. 12, accept the donation for AP Packaging. 13, approve Town Board minutes for 2022. 14, authorize endorsement for Deer Creek Sewage Works Transportation Corp. 15 is an SC. SC1 is a supervisor designated issue request for qualification for architectural engineering services. With that, I'd like to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody who'd like to speak to any item on the agenda?
Except for the public hearing, or?
No, except for a public hearing.
Doreen, go ahead.
Hey, thank you. So I have a question about number 11 to contract with John Waite Associates for Hudson Heritage North Tower Assessment. So is this one of these things where it was a building that was supposed to have been saved and now they're claiming it's deteriorated too much and it's a safety issue to not save it? And is that what this is all about?
Doreen, it's partial, that's what it is. It's about a building that they deem it, it's not necessary at this time and it's not something feasible. And they're paying through escrow for Waite and Associates on our side to reevaluate it.
But was it something that was supposed to be, like, that was scheduled to be preserved?
Yes.
Okay. That's, yeah, it's not surprising. Okay, and the other question I had was on number 6, the operating budget adjustments. So I don't think I've ever seen this many. There's like 125 line items to be transferred. Is this unusual?
No, these are, some of them were usually done during the year. Being that Charlie was leaving and Jessica's taken over, she's going through every single one of them and made sure they're all done at once. You know, some of these might have been broken into more or less departments than originally, but this is every single one that she's finished, she's completed this year's budget, she's preparing for the audit. So everything was up to date and completed, so nothing should come back. So she went through every single one and changed every one that was exactly where it's supposed to be.
Okay, and my last one is on number 12. It's a comment, really, not a question, about AP Packaging. So they're going to be giving a $75,000 donation. They also got about $1.5 million in mortgage tax exemption, sales tax exemption, and pilot program from the Dutchess County IDA. And I would have liked to have seen them pay their taxes in full instead of a $75,000 donation. Thank you.
And Doreen, what I will say along that line is this is a company that we know that we're in favor of seeing them come in. They're also growing now. They've been in front of the planning board to expand twice already. And they originally told us, I think it was around 100 employees. They're well over that number now, still looking to grow. So it is one of the few ones that I know you've brought up many times that is actually going the right direction of what they said they were gonna bring to the table. And they've taken over the BOCES building and they're starting to work on that, expanding there also at this time. Does anybody else have anything else? If not, motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing number 1. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 1, volunteer firefighters, volunteer ambulance workers exemptions. All in favor?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here to discuss public hearing number 1?
I see no one.
Nope, nobody in the audience? Make a motion to close public hearing number 1?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Renahan.
Being enacted that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie pursuant to a duly noticed public hearing held on February 15, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend by local law Town Code Chapter 183, specifically the edition entitled Article 5, 183.12-183.16, volunteer firefighter and volunteer ambulance worker exemption, with the language to be added underlined and the language to be deleted stricken, as shown in Exhibit A, and be it resolved that the legal notice of the public hearing was posted on February 2nd, 2023, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on February 7th, 2023. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does determine that the adoption of this amendment is not an action under New York State environmental conservation law, and no environmental review is required. And be it resolved that the said local law amendment shall become effective immediately upon filing. So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, this is, as long as we're going exactly the way the county is going with this, I don't have an issue with it. I went to the firehouse meeting at Fairview, they discussed it, and they're looking for 10% from the county, the town, and the school districts. I have no idea if the school district voted on it or passed it or not. But most everybody has been in favor of this. It's going to affect very few people and spread out over only the town portion of taxes on this. So this doesn't clearly state that we're going to follow what the county does in 2025. So I would put forth that we do this in conjunction with what the county does when they take effect in 2025 at 10%.
Jeff, you had that meeting. Do you remember what the 10% is the number we're using?
But we're not using the 3-year, the 2025 would be incorporated in. As long as we're doing it in conjunction with the county, I don't have a problem with this because it makes it easier for everybody and and judging everything with the taxes.
In regards to what, starting it or the 2,
Starting
3?
it. I want to start it when the county starts it.
Yeah, see, I still feel that we should start as soon as possible in 24, because I said, for some, it will make a difference. Those that, reside in Fairview and Arlington, those, like I said, in New Hamburg, they might not benefit in 2024, but they will in 2025. But I think, like I said, this is the least we can do to show, support for all these volunteers that are saving millions of dollars. That's it for the town.
Yeah, and I agree with you. The number of volunteers is quite small. The impact on our taxpayers will be extremely small. And if this encourages some of the volunteers to continue on and stay in there, even though it's just a small gesture, that's great because it's saving us money then on the fire taxes. The more volunteers we have, the smaller the budgets. It can be reduced the budget by that much by using volunteers instead of paid.
Right.
You hope it brings more. I agree with what Mike said though, but talking to Jeff after the last meeting, I think in New Hamburg's case alone, which has the most volunteers, a lot of them won't even be applying this year because it's not gonna be enough to make a difference because the county isn't for 2 years. And just the fact of ours, it may give them a chance to enroll, but I don't think a lot of them are even gonna come in and apply because as of now, they can't take the deduction from the state and this at the same time. So in New Hamburg's case, which has the majority of the volunteers, I don't think a lot of them will be applying this year. So this will give her a chance to get started. Anybody got any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Ms. Berger.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Amanda Snyder to the position of full-time police officer under the provisions of civil service law dealing with resignation reinstatement at the starting yearly salary of $65,760.72, effective March 2nd, 2023, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 nor more than 52 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Amanda, we're gonna give.
You're gonna raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Amanda Snyder,
I, Amanda Snyder,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
faithfully discharge the duties of
Town of Poughkeepsie Police Officer
Town of Poughkeepsie Police Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you so much.
This is on.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Be resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Stephen Fuller to the full-time position of police maintenance worker with the Police Department at the salary grade 6, step 2, 23.4026 per hour, effective February 20th, 2023, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Welcome aboard.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the appointment of Thomas Comerford to the permanent position of software support analyst with the Police Department at a grade 10, step 5 hourly rate of $36.3804 per hour, subject to a probation period of not less than 8, no more than 26 weeks per civil service law, effective February 16th, 2023, and be further resolved, the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby ratify the execution of a memorandum of agreement relating to in-service training in the January 1st, 2019 to January 31st, 2022 collective bargaining agreement, which remains in effect between the town and the Town of Poughkeepsie PBA, a copy of which is annexed here too. So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie established the office of comptroller, which officer is vested with the powers and duties provided in the town law 32 and elsewhere, and whereas the town comptroller is responsible for the orderly recording of all finances associated with the financial operation of the town, and whereas in order to close the financial records for the year ended December 31st, 2022, certain budget adjustments, transfers, and amendments may be required, and whereas this board wishes to provide the town comptroller with authorization to perform all necessary intra-fund budget adjustments, transfers, and amendments in order to produce a balanced budget for the year 2022. Now therefore be resolved, the town comptroller is hereby authorized to make all necessary intra-fund adjustments, transfers, and amendments to the 2022 operating budget, revenue, and expenditure accounts required to produce a balanced budget by April 1st, 2023, provided that the town controller shall deliver a report detailing all such adjustments, transfers, and amendments to the town supervisor attached. So moved.
Second.
A motion, and just to add to the comment I made before, with the prices going up on some of these, that made some of the adjustments a little more complicated. When some of the numbers are low, like $100, $200, $300, they may have gone over, so it made it for a lot more adjustments. Sorry, Doreen, I forgot to add that to it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute an out-of-improvement area water tenancy agreement with Lucille Depew on behalf of the town of Poughkeepsie and the townwide water improvement area to provide water service to her property at 10 Maple Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, identified as grid number 133-200-616-303, 18232400000, and to also execute tenancy agreements with 3 other out-of-improvement area single-family homeowners on Cherry Lane and Maple Road in Hyde Park, whose properties have in-street town water mains with service valve curb boxes previously installed. And be it further resolved that said agreement shall include all standard town terms and conditions, provide for payment of a connection fee of $3,500, or the then current fee at the time of connection, payment of standard usage rates as adjusted from time to time, and the payment of proportional capital, operation and maintenance, and benefit usage charges as if the properties were in the improvement area. All with all documents being subject to the approval of the supervisor, town engineer, water department, and attorney of the town, to the town. And be it further resolved that the town board finds that because this agreement will provide water utility service to approved subdivision lots, no secret review is required. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I'd like to thank our town attorney, our water department for working so hard on getting this done, and our legal department. Mr. Capo called me and couldn't make it tonight, but he wanted me to express his thank you to you for your hard work and diligence during this matter, Jim.
Thank you. He's a very nice man.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Be resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the resignation of Robert Nasser from the town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board effective immediately. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any questions? I would just like to thank Bob for his time on the planning board and wish him luck with spending all the time with his family now. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby acknowledge receipt of a request on behalf of Q and Brew Barbecue, Inc., 35 Winslow Gate Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, for a waiver of the 30-day review period for a liquor license application. And be further resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the town clerk's forwarding of a waiver and consent pursuant to the attached request. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Be it resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie is hereby acknowledge receipt of a request on behalf of the Hudson Valley Falafel, 260 North Road, Unit 1, Poughkeepsie, New York, for a waiver of the 30-day review period for liquor license application. And be it further resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie is hereby approve the clerk's forwarding of a waiver of consent pursuant to the attached request. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie for itself and on behalf of the sewer districts and improvement areas wishes to improve the efficiency and capacity of a certain wastewater transmission line west of Tucker Drive, for which work the dormitory authority of the state of New York has agreed to make a $400,000 grant. And whereas the replacement transmission line will be on public streets, Tucker Drive and Friendly Lane, with an existing town-owned easement and recently acquired easement over the land of McAllister Move-In and Storage of New York, Inc., the Stop and Shop Supermarket Company LLC, and Hilda Carr Associates LLC. And whereas this board has determined the Resolution 97-16 of 2022 annexed that the receipt of the recently acquired easement will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and a secret negative declaration has been authorized. And whereas with reference to the portion of the replacement line in Tucker Drive and Friendly Lane, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has, per 6 NYCRR 363-3.1, consented to the installation by horizontal drilling through a landfill area subject to town proposed remediation measures. And whereas the Dutchess County Department of Behavioral and Community Health, which has received the Annex July 25th, 2022 Environmental Assessment Form and Project Plan Annex, has advised that it will issue the town a consent to operate the replacement line upon payment by the town of required consultant fees. And whereas the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie, upon review of the Annex short form environmental assessment form and plan and all prior documentation and proceedings of the town relating to this project, hereby determine that Tucker Drive Forest Main Replacement Project is an unlisted action and that this town board will conduct an uncoordinated environmental review of the project, and that based on its review determines that there is no potential for a significant adverse environmental impact from the project, and authorizes the town supervisor or his designee to answer no to the question on the Annex EAF Part 2 and to endorse a negative declaration on Part 3 thereof. So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? Most of this $400,000 was through a grant, Dormitory Authority. It was a grant through Senator Serena that took a few years to get, and this will fix a clogged line located over by the police department that's been giving us issues for years. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Be resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized as supervisor to sign a contract and substantially the form annexed, which shall include an indemnity clause acceptable to the town and proof of standard town required commercial liability, workers' compensation, and auto and errors and omission insurance coverages with John C. Wade Associates to conduct a structural assessment of the historic North Tower at the Hudson Heritage Project site at a cost not to exceed $12,000. It be further resolved, the town board further finds that it would not be in the best interest of the town to solicit alternative proposals or quotations for such service, and be it further resolved, the town board finds that this is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Get a motion and a second. Any questions on that one?
Aye.
No, just that, basically, that it was what you said, the developer feels that it's not in stable enough shape to, once the rest of the wing is removed, that it won't be able to stand on its own, but we don't believe that's the case. It's a solid concrete building. It was the bathrooms for each of the floors, so we'd like to have another look at it.
Yeah, this is somebody that we chose. This was our
Yes,
choice, our interview.
Somebody who's not attached with the developer.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Be resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with appreciation a donation of $75,000 from AP Packaging, and be further resolved that said donation, which was made to our recreation department, will be used for various recreation and senior citizen programs for the town of Poughkeepsie residents. So moved.
Second.
Get a motion and a second. Any questions? I would just like to thank AP Packaging, because as he was coming here, we had discussion that one of the issues with, when you have a pilot, the town is the one who always gets the short end of the stick, and recreation is always somewhere we needed money. And he said, once I got his feet on the ground, he would look to try to donate, try to help us out. And I thought this was a great donation for recreation to work on the programs and different things they've got. And Jan is definitely working on some positives for this year to hopefully use this money wisely to bring our residents something different. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Be it resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie is hereby accept the minutes for the following 2022 town board meetings to wit: October 5th, 2022, committee of the whole regular town board meeting; October 19th, 2022, regular town board meeting; November 2nd, 2022, regular town board meeting; November 16th, 2022, regular town board meeting; December 7th, 2022, regular town board meeting; December 14th, 2022, committee of the whole regular town board meeting. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Whereas Deer Creek Apartment LLC has petitioned the town of Poughkeepsie Town Board for consent to form and file a transportation corporation, the corporation, to provide a sewer system for receipt, collection, and transmission by pump and pipelines of waste generated at its property at 667 Sheaf Road, and upon the payment of the proposed connection fees, the corporation to accept the waste generated by 641 Sheaf Road, Wingate, York, LLC, 657 Sheaf Road, Valley Christian Church, 3 lots owned by 354 Sheaf Road Property LLC, and 650 Sheaf Road, Qualmar Corporation, or each of these successors in title. Now therefore be resolved that town board, having considered the petition and the facts and issues presented included the consent of Dutchess County Department of Behavioral and Community Health to use the system to serve the petitioner's property at 667 Sheaf Road, the fact that the petitioner's development of apartments at 667 Sheaf Road was the subject of a full secret review, including the pump station and downstream piping, and the fact that the extended wastewater utility service to the approved subdivision is a type 2 action for secret purposes, determines that the formation and operation of the corporation is a type 2 action under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, requiring no further environmental review, and be it further resolved, the supervisor or his designee is authorized to execute a consent to the filing and formation of the corporation pursuant to Transportation Corporation Law 116 Subdivision 1, and to execute all documents relating thereto on receipt of an amended petition from the applicant in form and substance acceptable to the supervisor, the town engineer, the town sewer department, and attorney to the town. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Glad to get that
Be-
done.
Yes.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit. Authorize supervisor designee to issue requests for qualifications for architectural engineering services. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the town board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie has adopted resolutions in relation to the creation of the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area regarding the construction of certain sewer improvements, including the replacement of the existing Spack Hill pump station pursuant to a DEC consent order at a maximum estimated cost of $7,334,000. And whereas the town has been advised that a WIIA grant of $1,521,568.15 is available through the Environmental Facilities Corporation to reduce the cost of the project, and that a New York State Department of Environmental Conservation WQIP grant of $4,428,180 may be available. And whereas the town has received authorization from the New York State Controller's Office to form the Hudson Heritage Sewer District, in relation to which the town anticipates the construction of wastewater improvements having a maximum estimated cost of $11,326,000 at the former Hudson River Psychiatric Center campus, now known as the Hudson Heritage Project, the cost of which is expected to be covered by the Environmental Facilities Corporation bonds and grants of $6,068,270 and the developer's contribution of $5,233,730. And whereas in order to qualify the Environmental Facilities Corporation funding for architectural and/or engineering services at the above projects, the town must issue a request for qualifications for them and therefore evaluate the qualifications received and otherwise proceed pursuant to Environmental Facilities Corporation regulations. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor or his designee is authorized to issue a request for qualifications, architectural engineering services for the town of Poughkeepsie in substantially the form annexed, and be it further resolved that because the Sewer Improvement Area 2 project and the Hudson Heritage Project have been the subject of an environmental review, with the Sewer Improvement Area being a Type 2 action and the Hudson Heritage Project having been a Type 1 action, for which a finding statement has been adopted, no further seeker review is required. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. That brings us to the end of our agenda. We can make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ask, it's time for anybody to speak, and ask anybody to please limit it to 3 minutes. Is there anybody who'd like to speak? Michelle?
Here I am again. I had a brief conversation with the police chief's secretary. And my comments related to the safety and relocation of our officers and town staff. to the location of Boardman Road. I don't own property near Boardman Road. I don't own property or know family person that owns property near Boardman Road or Cedar Avenue. But unfortunately, that seems to be the site where there is now increased activity, adding towers and antenna. You and the police will be 300 feet from what's already there. And there is no probative evidence of public necessity. There's no denial of service records. There are no drive tests to verify that there's a need for more and more of this antenna, and more is being added. Now, my suspicion is it's being used to offset construction costs of a major development that is being planned there, I guess. That's really not ethical. I spoke with Jody Miller, who is, I guess, is the commissioner or chairwoman of the Board of Ethics in Dutchess. She says she doesn't get involved with that. This is an ethical problem. And because we have the FCC's regulations that are in question, that still have to review 11,000 pages of documents showing harm from within the FCC guidelines, it's prudent to pause or at least have prescriptive language for the planning board to follow that will substantiate whether there's public necessity. And we're not doing that. Our telecom code is still incomplete insofar as I'm concerned. There's also been no opportunity for the public to comment on any new telecom code update. We're going to be receiving $84,657 through 2040, just as it is in the addition of all these antenna. That's not worth harming our police or our town staff. The CDC, by the way, has a classification now which implements the International Classifications of Diseases, 10th revision, ICD-10-CM. They do recognize radiation sickness with a diagnostic injury code, T66. It covers electromagnetic sensitivity along with other RF exposures related injuries. These are the people harmed by pulses and modulated RF radiation, police included. Okay? The Pittsfield, Massachusetts Department of Health just had a case that was postponed, perhaps by one of our telecom carriers that the case was against, in Berkshire, Massachusetts Supreme Court. And many of the people in this area called Shacktown, which is actually very nice homes, have abandoned their homes because they were unfit for habitation. Their children were getting ill. They were getting ill since 2020, which was when this large tower was installed near their homes. Okay, this is what we're waiting for here to happen. And rather than having it happen, why don't we just pause it? I mean, it just makes sense. The precautionary principle makes sense here until we know what these things are doing. So to wrap it up, we're thinking of getting a give, send, go to get a building biologist to officially take measurements in that area and then know what you guys are going to be approving after that and see how it is then too. But as it is right now, I know of several people who are becoming ill just based on what is there now, and it's typical of radiation sickness. So I just want to say this, someone related to the PBA who is actually active in the Middle East said, Michelle, there's a difference between strategic and tactical communications. Now, I don't even know the depth of what he was talking about, but we're talking about burying cable to make it more secure, less hackable, especially when you have foreign components. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. So in our code, it does say we prefer buried infrastructure, buried communications cable. Why don't we do that? So that's what I want to say to you guys, and I'm speaking out, again, with no skin in the game other than I care about you, I care about our community, I care about our police, and I care about my family. So,
Thank you, Ms.
there you
Hall.
go. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Anybody else?
Does not look like it.
Motion to resume the rules?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thought maybe Jim wanted to talk to us.
Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight.